There's a feeling most people never talk about. Not sadness exactly, not loneliness, something quieter than that. It is the feeling that your life is happening to someone else, that you are watching it from the back of the room, that somehow you are not the main character in your own story. And the strangest part, you are not imagining it. There is a reason your brain does this to you, and today we are going to find out what it is. Know the feeling? You're in a conversation, but you are not really in it. You're watching yourself talk. You make a plan, something small, something real, and then it quietly dissolves. Not because you failed, because it never felt like it was truly yours to begin with. You scroll through other people's lives, and something inside you whispers, they are living, you are observing. This is not a personality flaw. This is not a lack of motivation. This is a psychological pattern. And it has a name. Psychologists call it depersonalization at its clinical extreme. But long before it reaches that level, most people experience a softer, quieter version of it every single day. It is called observer mode, and is your brain's way of protecting you from something it perceives as dangerous. Here's what happens inside you. At some point, maybe young, maybe not so long ago, your nervous system learned that being fully present carried a cost. Perhaps you were told you were too much. Perhaps you learned to read the room before you spoke. Perhaps you simply noticed, very early, that other people's needs came first. So your brain made a decision. It stepped you back. It put you behind the glass. And from there, life feels like something you are watching rather than something you are living. The psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called full engagement with life flow, that state where you are so absorbed in what you are doing that the boundary between you and the experience disappears. Observer mode is the opposite of flow. It is the state where the boundary between you and your life becomes a wall. Before we go any further, listen to this. You are not broken. The fact that you feel this way does not mean something is wrong with you. It means something inside you is working exactly as it was designed to work. Your brain built this wall for a reason. It was trying to keep you safe. The problem is not that the wall exists. The problem is that you forgot it was ever a choice. And choices can be revisited. Let us talk about what is actually happening in your brain. Think of your nervous system as a thermostat, not one that controls temperature, one that controls threat. When you are young, your nervous system learns to read your environment. It asks one question, constantly. Is it safe to be here? Fully here? If the answer, again and again, is no, if being present meant being criticized, overlooked, or overwhelmed, the thermostat shifts. It turns down your engagement, lowers the volume on your own experience. Neuroscientists call this a shift in your default mode network, the part of your brain that constructs your sense of self. When this network becomes underactive, you stop narrating your own life from the inside. You start watching it from the outside. You become the observer, not the participant. There is another layer to this. Psychologists studying attachment theory have found that people who learned early to suppress their own needs to be the easy child, the low-maintenance friend, develop what is called dismissive attachment. These individuals are not cold. They're not indifferent. They have simply learned to take up less space. When you take up less space internally, your life begins to feel like it is happening in a room you are not quite standing in. One more thing. There is a concept in cognitive psychology called self-referential processing. It is the brain's ability to see events as personally meaningful, to feel that something matters to you, specifically. In observer mode, this process quiets down. Events happen. You register them, but they do not land. They do not feel yours. This is why you can achieve something genuinely good and feel nothing. This is why joy, when it comes, feels borrowed. Your brain is not ignoring your life. It is simply not rooting the experience through the part of itself that says, this is mine. This matters. I am here. So, if this is a learned pattern, if your nervous system built this wall through years of quiet, repeated instruction, then it can be unlearned. Not overnight. Not with force. But with patience and with intention. Here are the principles. Principle 1. Name the wall when you feel it. This sounds simple. It is not. But research in affect labeling, a study out of UCLA led by psychologist Matthew Lieberman, found that simply naming an emotional state reduces activity in the brain's threat centers. When you notice yourself slipping into observer mode, you do not need to fight it. Simply say internally, I am behind the glass right now. That act of recognition is the first signal to your nervous system that it does not need to protect you this way. It's principle 2. Anchor yourself in the body. Observer mode is a cognitive escape. The antidote is physical presence. Psychologist Peter Levine, in his work on somatic experiencing, demonstrated that the body holds the key to re-entering lived experience. When you feel detached, do not think your way back. Feel your way back. Notice 5 things you can touch. Notice the temperature on your skin. Notice the weight of your own body in the chair. These small, sensory anchors pull your nervous system back to the present and activate the part of your brain that says, I am here. This is real. This is mine. Principle 3. Do one small thing that is only for you, not for productivity, not to impress anyone, not because it is on a list. Something small and quiet that exists only because you chose it. Self-determination theory, developed by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan, identifies autonomy as one of the 3 core psychological needs. When you consistently act in service of others, when your life is built around responding, rather than choosing, your sense of agency over your own story erodes. One small chosen act per day begins to rebuild the signal that your life belongs to you. Principle 4. Interrupt the comparison loop. Observer mode feeds on comparison. When you are already watching your own life from a distance, watching other people's lives up close deepens the divide. Leon Festinger's theory of social comparison tells us that we instinctively measure ourselves against others, and when we feel we fall short, the brain registers it as a threat. And when the brain feels threatened, it retreats further behind the glass. This is not about deleting your phone. It is about noticing the moment the comparison begins and choosing gently to look away. Principle 5. Let yourself be witnessed. This is the hardest one. Observer mode often developed because being seen felt unsafe. So the deepest way to dissolve it is to allow yourself to be seen again, slowly, carefully, with someone you trust. Not performing, not explaining. Just letting another person know you are there. Psychologist Carl Rogers called this unconditional positive regard, the experience of being accepted without condition. When someone offers you that, even briefly, it sends a signal to your nervous system. It is safe to be present now. Here is the simple mental model. Think of yourself as someone who has been standing behind a window for a very long time. You can see life through it. You can even understand it. But you cannot feel the wind. You cannot feel the ground beneath you. The wall is not permanent. It was built gently, quietly, by a part of you that was only trying to help. And the way back through it is not violent. It is not a breakthrough. It is a slow, deliberate leaning forward, one breath at a time, until one morning you notice that the glass is no longer there. You were never a background character. You were simply standing too far back to see yourself in the frame. You do not have to fix this today. You do not have to fix it all at once. You just have to notice, gently, without judgment, that you are here. Like your life is not something happening in the distance. It is happening right now, in this breath, in this moment. And you are not watching it. You are in it.